Welcome to Alive to Thrive OT. I'm Lauren Lyman.
And I'm Tracy Schnabel.
Today we are going to talk to you about how you can avoid harmful cell phone radiation to your brain. So very important, we're going to keep it kind of brief. Again, we're two occupational therapists who noticed a gap in healthcare. We want to try to bridge that gap. We want to educate you on topics that are being kind of overlooked or dismissed that are actually pretty important to your health. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All of our topics are for informational purposes only. So if you have specific medical concerns, please take them to your medical provider. We have no warranties or representations. Again, informational purposes only. We are not held accountable for anything. And if it's an emergency, dial 911. Okay, so Tracy, let's talk about cell phone damage.
Okay, yeah. So I think that we don't really think about this a lot, about the damage that's being caused when we're talking on the phone. I don't even think we think about the radiation very much. So I'm going to break it down into who, what, where, when, why, how, just to kind of make it easy for everybody, okay? So who is affected by the radiation from the cell phones? Well, really everyone who's using a cell phone. So especially children, they found that it affects them more. Like the amount of radiation that penetrates into the brain is more in children. So I know a lot of kids have their own cell phones now. It blows my mind. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 16. But you really have to be mindful if you have children of letting them use it and understanding that it could be harmful potentially. So what is happening? Like, what is this with all the radiation? Like I said, I don't think we really think about it, but okay, there's two types of, radiation. There's ionizing and non-ionizing. So the cell phone has the non-ionizing, so the less harmful, but you're still getting like radio frequency waves and power frequency waves from like the operation of the cell phone itself. Because like think about it, back in the day, we used to just have like regular cell phone radiation, but now we're having it almost like it's a computer, So you're getting all the radiation, not just from the radio waves, but you're also getting from the internet. We're using it in so many different ways now. We're using it for GPS. We're using it to look up things. We're looking up for social media. So those signals that are going into the phone are happening all the time as we use them. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. Yeah, it's not as bad. It's non-ionizing, but it's still radiation.
It's the same technology as a microwave. So think about how quickly a microwave can boil water in like 3 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're talking on your phone, after 5 minutes, I think it's like a third of your brain with this thermal imaging becomes red. For a child, it's over half of their brain after 5 minutes. And most of us, I know we're in the texting era now, but people who are talking on the phone, most of us talk for over 5 minutes. And then I wanted to bring up a little disclaimer. If you have, I don't think that Samsung does it. I'm not sure about the other phones, but if you have an iPhone and you go into your settings, go to settings and then go to general and then scroll down. There's a section called legal and regulatory. Click that. And then RF exposure, radio frequency exposure. And it talks about certain rates and, what's allowed. During testing, we did the highest transmission levels and placed in positions that simulate uses against the head with no separation and when worn or carried on the torso of the body. But they even say in here, to reduce exposure to radio frequency energy, use the hands-free options such as the built-in speakerphone, the supplied headphones, or other similar accessories. Cases with metal parts may change the radio frequency performance of the device, including its compliance with radio frequency exposure guidelines in a manner that has not been tested or certified. So even if you have certain cases, it can amplify that frequency to make it even more harmful. And I know with some of the phones, they're not even testing the phones against your head.
Yeah,
they're
I wanted to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you brought it up.
They're testing it further away from your body, which most people don't use their phone in that way. So kind of scary stuff.
Yeah, before I found out about not having it directly against your head, I used to have it directly against my head, like, what? But yeah, now I try to keep it away or text or do, other things where it's not directly against the skin, or people hold it against their back pocket, directly on them. Don't do that either. I used to do that as well.
Women who carry their phones inside their bra tend to have higher rates of breast cancer. Men who carry it in their front pocket tend to have higher rates of testicular cancer. And these are studies that are showing this. So be very careful what you're doing with your phone. And this is only when your phone is turned on, which, I mean, most of us have our phones on all the time. So,
well, that's a good point. We could turn it off when you don't have to have it on.
Or put it in airplane mode, because then there's no signal being emitted.
Yeah. And then there's also, when I was doing research, there's like the body of the phone emits certain frequencies, and then there's an antenna most often on the lower end of the phone that's emitting a lot of the frequencies too. So just to be aware of that. And so the where, studies found that the effects were mostly found in the brain. People were developing tumors. They couldn't associate it clearly with certain types of cancers, but definitely with tumor growth and damage to the brain with people that have prolonged use with the cell phone directly against their head. So,
and it's not, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's fine, I use a Bluetooth headset. There's a lot of Bluetooth is emitting a frequency. Bluetooth is harmful to your health too. If you're within 30 to 40 feet from a Bluetooth device, you get its effects. So you can imagine if you're sticking Bluetooth inside your ear, it's probably just as, if not more, dangerous. So Bluetooth is not good either. You want to have, and I know there's not a lot of options for wiring things anymore. I'm having a really hard time finding even a laptop. Finding a laptop wireless that has Ethernet, like, it's not around anymore. But for your health, if you can wire it. If you're just sitting in your car on your phone, put it on speaker or put a wired headset in. Well, you can't do that when you're driving, but, one ear or whatever. The Bluetooth is just as dangerous.
And then the why, so we kind of talked about this, because when I was looking up, it was like 30 to 30,000 hertz of like radiation is coming through depending on what you're using the phone for. So it's just something that you need to be conscious of, because you don't want to be having the high amount of frequencies coming in at a higher rate, so that you reduce your exposure, which we kind of talked about. So and then how are you getting the most radiation? Like we said too before, like during like long talk time. So think about being on the phone for like an hour with your girlfriend. Not a good idea.
Feel your phone. Feel your phone after you've been on it for a while. It's hot, right? Or like when your phone's charging, all these things are going on in there. If your phone is getting hot and that's against your face and then it's transmitting signals, I mean, logically it makes sense, but it's things that we really don't think about.
Yeah. So if you know better, you do better. So our whole goal with our podcast and with this show is just to like raise the consciousness level of the public so that you can be aware and reduce your risk of harm. Because it's not like we're going to stop using cell phones, but we can use them safer. And then also during sleep, a lot of people do this, like where they have the phone. And I started moving it away from me now because my friend yelled at me. She's like, what, you sleep with it next to you know this stuff? And I was like, oh, you're right. Because sometimes we just put it, on the nightstand, charging it next to our heads. And again, it's still receiving the signal. And then, if you can turn off your Wi-Fi, because again, the Wi-Fi is bringing in more of that signal. So my friend also told me, just turn off the Wi-Fi when you can, when it's not necessary to use it, and you'll reduce those signals coming in.
So Wi-Fi reaches, I think it's like a 200 to 300 foot span. Bluetooth is a 30 to 40 foot span. So if you can turn both of those off at night, ideally you'd put your phone, either turn it off or put it in airplane mode. But today I don't have a house phone, so that's my only method of communicating if someone has an emergency in the middle of the night. So just get it as far away from your physical body as possible.
Yeah. And again, don't hold it on the body. Yes. Like we were at a thing the other day, an event, and somebody was holding it against their body, and I was like, hey, take it off your body. Don't do that. Do not apply directly to the skin at all.
if you can avoid it, I mean, if you don't want to use a headset or, I put my phone on speaker when I'm at the store. People probably think I'm annoying, but, it is what it is. But I also have a safe sleeve for my phone. So there are certain devices. So this thing here blocks radiation. So, and it actually has like a slot for the earpiece and stuff. So I can talk on my phone like this, and it's blocking the radiation from my head. But the radiation is coming out the back. So I can use it that way. And then if I'm texting or I have my phone on my lap, I can open it up, and now the block is in the back and I'm using my phone. So it's protecting my lap, basically. So, and remember, this is for phones, tablets, and computers. And tablets, especially pregnant women, putting tablets on their pregnant bellies. All that radiation is going to your fetus, your developing baby. So be very, very careful of that. Tablets are called table-its. They're tablets. They're meant for tables. They're not meant to be put on your body. And it comes with the same warning, but it's like in the legal part of your phone, and it's kind of tucked away. And again, it's not things that we talk about. Protect your body. Protect your baby. Don't put it by your skin.
And so the top 10 ways that, to summarize everything we just said here to help reduce your risk of getting cancer or complication at all from using your cell phone is, again, don't apply it directly to your skin. Use that speakerphone option, text instead of call. Use the shields that Lauren talked about, either for your cell phone or for your laptop. Check them out. They're online. They're not that expensive, right?
I think I paid $50 for my phone, but it'll last me forever. So
if it could reduce your risk of a tumor, or a lot of people, they did find too, were having trouble with sleeping, that had it next to their head. It interrupted REM sleep, and then that affects your memory and attention and mood. So that's affecting a lot more things than we realize, not just the brain tumors, but the brain function, and the way that your brain waves are performing are affected by the radiation. Decrease the use in poor reception areas. So it was saying too, when I did some research, that so your phone has to work harder to get to that tower, right? And low reception areas. So if you don't need to use it in a low reception area, don't, because your phone is going to have more frequencies coming to it when it's working harder to get to that tower. Again, don't place it next to your head when talking. Turn off your Wi-Fi when you can, when you don't need it, especially at night. Use your phone as a phone. That was like my own thing. If you can, it might be a good idea. But also certain models of phones have more radiation coming to them. So you could do a little research on your own if you can, before purchasing, if you're going to make a new purchase anytime recently after watching this video. And then also, if there's, they were saying higher traffic times of everybody using their phone, can cause, the phone to need to work harder also to get that signal. So there's just some ideas, ways to work around it, because we know people aren't going to stop using their phone all of a sudden. It's become so a part of our culture that that's impossible. But just by changing a few small things, and it could really reduce you and your family's risk of radiation from the phone.
And especially, I know these days, a lot of times kids are playing games or watching movies on phones and tablets. Yeah. If you have a movie, if I'm going on a plane soon, if you have a movie uploaded or downloaded onto your tablet, put it in airplane mode and you can still access that. So rather than just having YouTube on all the time, if there's a certain movie or video or whatever that your kid watches all the time, find a way to get it permanently on your phone so that you don't have to use Wi-Fi or data or anything. You can put it in airplane mode and make it safer for them. And again, always go with some kind of EMF blocking device. I mean, if you don't want to get the safe sleeve, there are just different flat mats. So it's universal. You can put it under your laptop. You can put it on your tablet, your phone, whatever. And then wire whenever possible. And that's something we're going to be talking about a lot with detoxifying your life. Wired devices. We need to go back. I know we're going back in technology, but bigger and better is not always bigger and better. We have all this new technology, but it's getting very dangerous. So if there are devices that you can plug into your iPhone and then it converts it to Ethernet and then you can plug it into your wall. So keep that in mind, that you can hardwire your phone. It is possible with certain devices that they have online. That being said, not a lot of Ethernet options, the RJ45 jacks in your house. So what else you can do is replace, we don't use phones anymore, right? House phones anymore. So replace your house cable, your phone cable, with an Ethernet cable, and then you can start using all of those phone jacks for Ethernet instead. So you can wire pretty much all the bedrooms, probably the kitchen, your living space. There's usually cable jacks in all of those rooms. So change them all to Ethernet and you can wire up anywhere.
Oh, cool.
So keep those things in mind.
Yeah.
And boycott 5G.
Yeah.
It's coming and it's really bad. They've done studies in Europe and it's made people extremely ill. Like hospitalizing people. People are getting migraines, dizziness, vomiting, passing out. Like there have been detrimental health effects and we're just like, 5G, let's go. Bigger is not always better. We need to research these things, and 5G has been shown to be dangerous. So, and that's a fact. It's been shown in studies. So, speaking the truth.
So yeah. So if you're not feeling well, physically, mentally, spiritually, think about maybe could it be related to my phone? Like sometimes we get discouraged and we're like, oh, there's nothing I can do about this. Maybe just try detaching from the phone or turning off the Wi-Fi or getting one of the protectors and see if you feel any different. I mean, I'm thinking just logically you have to, right? If you didn't know this and you're getting all that radiation every day. So it's a pretty cool, easy way just to feel better.
There is a correlation between screen time and depression, and some of that is the social aspect of Facebook, all that. Some of it is, you not being like actually with somebody talking and communicating the way we were supposed to. Yeah. But I wonder how much of that is radiation and how much is physically damaging your body so that you're not getting good sleep, and sleep is restorative, right? So you're not getting good sleep.
Yeah.
You're unhealthy, and it's kind of like this spiral of events. So there's a lot behind it. So think about the psychological components of the internet that we know, with social, bullying and things like that. But think about the physical effects too, because that's one that we're really not talking about that needs to be talked about. So. So
we just wanted to bring this up and do a short video and just give you guys some suggestions. We hope it was helpful. Stay tuned.
And if you have any other questions about detoxifying your life, your home, trying to make things healthier for you and your family, please feel free to email us at alivetothriveot@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to help you out. We will be taking on clients too. So thank you for watching. Please like our video, subscribe to our channel, sign up for alerts, and visit us at www.facebook.com/Lauren and Tracy. We post all of our videos there too, and we can keep you informed on different health topics that way. And again, email us at alivetothriveot@gmail.com if you want tips for combating some of this radiation, tips for getting more phytonutrients in your body to help you overcome all these obstacles in our world, and if you would like a consultation of how to improve the health of your home. So thank you.
Yes. So we are wishing you physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And thank you for staying tuned and supporting us. We'll see you next time.